It's common for anyone to feel unmotivated at times, but for those with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, the challenge of starting or following through on tasks can be particularly daunting. ADHD is a neurological disorder that impacts attention, concentration, impulsivity, distractibility, and hyperactivity. While not all these symptoms manifest simultaneously, most individuals with ADHD experience some combination of them. One of the lesser discussed but profoundly impactful symptoms of ADHD is impaired motivation, which can create significant hurdles in daily life. The overlooked symptom, impaired motivation problems are a significant yet often overlooked aspect of ADHD. They can lead to conflicts with others and deeply affect self-perception. People with ADHD often ask themselves, "Why can't I just do this?" Tasks that need to be done can feel overwhelming, as if pushing through an invisible barrier requires immense effort. Even simple tasks can feel like monumental challenges if one's mind isn't fully engaged. For someone with ADHD, what might seem like 5 simple steps can feel like 1,000. This lack of motivation isn't about being lazy or unreliable, though it's often perceived that way by others. It's a neurological issue, rooted in how the brain functions. Research using brain imaging techniques, such as positron emission tomography, PET, has shown that people with ADHD often have a disruption in the dopamine reward pathway in the brain. Understanding the dopamine reward pathway. Dopamine is a key neurotransmitter involved in motivation, pleasure, and reward. The brain has 4 primary dopamine pathways, which act as messaging systems, transporting dopamine from one area of the brain to another. Each pathway has specific functions, and 2 of them are particularly important in the context of motivation. The first pathway, the mesolimbic pathway, carries dopamine from the midbrain to structures within the limbic system, which processes emotional memories. When you experience something pleasurable, this part of the brain is activated by dopamine, reinforcing the idea that the activity is rewarding. This could be something as basic as eating a delicious piece of chocolate or as complex as receiving praise and validation. This is the foundation of the reward system. When you do something that feels good, you're motivated to do it again. The second pathway, the mesocortical pathway, involves dopamine being produced by nerve cells in the midbrain and then traveling to the prefrontal cortex. This area of the brain is responsible for motivation and executive functions, including working memory, thinking, and decision-making. Stimulant medications like Adderall, Ritalin, and Vyvanse are often prescribed to increase dopamine levels in this pathway, thereby improving motivation and focus. The dopamine shortage and its impact on motivation in individuals with ADHD. This reward system doesn't function properly due to a shortage of dopamine transporter proteins. These proteins are essential for moving dopamine along the pathways to reach their destinations. When there aren't enough transporters, dopamine signals aren't transmitted effectively, leading to a lack of reinforcement for positive and productive behaviors. Without this reinforcement, efforts don't feel satisfying, and motivation dwindles. This understanding clarifies that low motivation in ADHD is not a character flaw but a symptom rooted in brain chemistry. Knowing this can help shift the perspective from self-blame to a more compassionate and informed view of the challenges ADHD presents. Strategies to boost motivation in ADHD. Given the role of dopamine in motivation, stimulant medications can be effective in helping to mitigate this issue, but they are not a cure-all. The effects of these medications are temporary, lasting only as long as the medication is active in the system. Even with medication, individuals with ADHD may continue to struggle with motivation. Therefore, it's crucial to develop strategies to enhance motivation in day-to-day life. Motivation in ADHD is typically driven by 4 factors: interest, urgency, degree of challenge, and novelty. Understanding and leveraging these factors can help make tasks more manageable. Interest. People with ADHD are more likely to engage in tasks they find interesting. To boost motivation, try to make tasks more engaging. This could involve connecting the task to a personal passion or finding a way to make it more enjoyable. Urgency. Many people with ADHD work better under pressure. A looming deadline can provide the urgency needed to spur action. However, waiting until the last minute can also create stress and anxiety. A helpful workaround is to artificially create urgency, such as by using a timer. For example, if you have a task due in 3 days, set a timer and challenge yourself to complete part of the task within a limited time frame. This can turn the task into a game, making it more engaging and less overwhelming. Challenge. Tasks that are too easy or too difficult can be demotivating. Finding the right level of challenge can help sustain interest. If a task feels too daunting, break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. Conversely, if a task is too simple, find ways to add complexity to keep it interesting. Novelty. Doing something in a new or different way can make it more appealing. For example, if you usually work at home, try working in a different environment, such as a coffee shop. The change of scenery can make the task feel fresh and more exciting. Implementing motivation strategies in daily life. One practical approach to improving motivation is using the Pomodoro technique, a time management method that has been effective for many people, including those with ADHD. The technique involves working in focused intervals, typically 25 minutes, followed by short breaks, 5 minutes. After 4 intervals, take a longer break, about 30 minutes. This method helps maintain focus and reduces the likelihood of becoming overwhelmed or bored. Another effective strategy is body doubling, which involves working alongside someone else. This person doesn't necessarily need to be working on the same task, but their presence can provide a sense of accountability and support. Whether in person or via video chat, body doubling can help create a conducive environment for productivity. If you don't have someone to work with, there are many body doubling videos available online that can simulate this experience. Adding novelty to tasks can also be helpful. For example, if you need to write a paper, try doing it in a different location, like a coffee shop. Some people with ADHD find that they can focus better in a busy environment, as the external stimulation can help them stay engaged with their task. The key is to find what works best for you. Managing motivation in ADHD. Motivation issues in ADHD are deeply rooted in the brain's dopamine system. While this can present significant challenges, understanding the underlying mechanisms can empower you to develop effective strategies for managing these difficulties. By finding ways to make tasks more interesting, urgent, challenging, or novel, you can boost your motivation and improve your ability to follow through on your goals. Remember, ADHD is not a character flaw but a neurological condition that requires thoughtful management. With the right tools and strategies, it's possible to overcome the motivation challenges associated with ADHD and lead a more productive and fulfilling life. For more tips and techniques, explore resources like ADHD skills training playlists or consult with professionals who specialize in ADHD management.